Hello everybody, my name is Ilse coming at you from hobbykr.com with another video. Today I wanted to create a video of something that I've actually already done on my blog. I think I did this maybe last year, but I started this series on my blog called Korean Animation Spotlight because I wanted to talk about Korean anime and Korean animation because Korea takes a big part in the anime industry overall, but they have also created their own anime even though there's not that many. So with this series I wanted to spotlight the animation series that Korea has created that are, quite lengthy and that are kind of like have the potential to hit the mainstream in the same way that Japanese animation has managed to do. So I realized that this post on my blog is, I think, the second most popular article that I've written. My blog is actually a little bit, way more popular than my videos, so I wanted to kind of start this series on video as well because I just think that since I'm talking about like a visual medium, that it would translate better if I created a video of it, and also because it might have more reach and more people might find out about this anime and learn more about the Korean animation industry, which is something that I've wanted to incorporate into hobbykr since I made it. It's something that I definitely had in mind when I came up with the name and everything. I did want to put the spotlight on kind of like the Korean industry and the potential of Korean anime because there is a lot. So today, the first episode of Korean Animation Spotlight is going to be focused on Flowering Heart, which is Korea's very own magical girl anime, and it's pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's the best anime in the world, but it's definitely not the worst, and the animation is quite satisfying, I would say. The character design is cute, and I think it has the potential to stand up to Japanese counterparts, especially now that the magical girl genre is a little bit more like mass-produced, like factory-made. If you watch Aikatsu series, in my opinion, they have become quite like mass manufactured. You can definitely see that the animation quality is not the main focus, and the main focus is to sell merch. And I think the same thing is happening with Flowering Heart, but at the same time it is, quite a decent production, I think, and a great resource for people who are looking to enjoy Korean anime. So the animation was released in 2016 by the studio DR or Doctor Movie. I'm not sure if you pronounce it DR or Doctor, but the studio has participated in endless Japanese productions of high quality, including Yuri on Ice, I have the list here, One Punch Man, Hunter x Hunter, Wolf Children, Chihayafuru, Trigun, Kokias, Gintama, Paprika, Claymore, Tokyo Godfathers, Ghost in the Shell. So and Spirited Away, they've participated in substantial productions, but they're also one of the leading animation studios in Korea that creates their own animation. They mostly do animation as, the cutscenes that you see in like mobile games when you begin playing them. They mostly do those. But they have created another full-length anime for the game Elsword. I also made a blog post about that, and I'm also planning on making a video about that anime in the future. But they are quite the studio. Definitely not an indie studio, definitely not a small studio. It's definitely a studio that has had a significant impact not only in the Korean animation industry, but in the Japanese animation industry. We often forget that the Japanese animation industry would not exist if it wasn't for Korean and also Chinese animation studios who pretty much do most of the second key animation and are in charge of kind of like the more menial and like difficult jobs, not for all studios and not for all animes, but they do take part in most productions, I would say, at least in some way. And they're definitely a side of the industry that gets very overlooked. And when people talk about Korean anime or like anime from other countries, they forget that it's already quite intertwined. So Flowering Heart is the story of three girls that have to help save the Flowering Kingdom from being taken over by hopeless energy. So that's where Ari, Suha, and Min come in because they are the ones that are going to get rid of hopeless energy, both in Earth and then eventually in the Flowering Kingdom. This is pretty much your typical magical girl animation in the sense that most of the episodes are simply the three girls encounter an enemy, in this case someone that is being like affected by hopeless energy, then they use their powers to defeat the hopeless energy. The main point of this series is to sell merch, so a Flowering Heart definitely does that. You know, they have a lot of cute items like bags and a pen and necklaces and whatnot, and you can definitely see this in like Korean toy stores or pretty much anywhere where they sell toys you can find the Flowering Heart items. I really like the character designs for when the girls transform. I don't find their children forms appealing, and I don't find their voices appealing. This is completely voice acted in Korean, and which is really awesome, especially if you're looking to study Korean. If you're someone who loves anime and have found that you have learned Japanese, for example, from watching anime, you can definitely use this anime to practice your Korean. So that is really a good point about this. But I think Korean voice acting is quite good. I've had the opportunity to see kind of like real voice actors actually in real life act, and I definitely respect their talent, but I think that for the most part in anime productions and the ones that I've watched and here in Flowering Heart, I think there's still a little bit of a ways to go, so to not sound too fake. I'm not sure how to describe it. Sometimes it sounds really forced.
이젠 슈엘도 있으니까 희망 에너지도 더 많이 모을 수 있겠다.
And to me, I especially found the voices of the girls quite jarring. And the designs as well, I think they're pretty uninspired when they're children, but once they transform, so when they transform, they kind of become adults. And I think that their designs when they transform, you know, are quite appealing. I think they're very cute. The three girls, they all kind of have, you know, the different personalities. Ari is like the happy-go-lucky, go-getter positive girl. Suha is like the more quiet and studious girl, and Min is more like into sports and more of a tomboy, and you can definitely see that reflected on their designs. Speaking of the voice acting, this series is actually completely dubbed in English as well already, which is awesome. The studio has made the entire animation available on YouTube. You can watch it for free. I'll link one of the episodes below, and they've also made it available completely in English. I think they realized how big the children's market is on YouTube, and they wanted to capitalize on that because it's all available in English. And I have to say, the Korean voice acting is definitely superior.
Ari Jin's back to school look is complete!
So I would suggest you watch it in Korean, especially because it's not that common to hear anime voice acted in Korea, so you might as well. Now let's talk about the animation itself. I think the animation is quite good. It's consistent, which is nice because I think with most of the anime that is kind of like made more of like a commercial anime, what you find is that usually the first episode has quite good animation, and then it's all downhill from there, and you get like horrific dramatical murder style drawings. But in this case, I think the animation is consistent. I think it's not top tier, but it's not bad. I think the studio has shown that they are quite good at animation. I highly recommend their other anime, Elsword, because the animation is gorgeous throughout. And I think that it is quite solid. Like I mentioned before, it can definitely compare to its industry counterparts. I think one of the flaws of the animation is just that it's very basic in both its designs and its story. I think it lacks a little bit of that like punch. Although the characters are pretty and the transformations are pretty and the story is entertaining, I don't think it provides that much of a punch or that much of like a unique kind of story or character design to kind of create a super big fan base, but I think it's a really, really good start, and I think it's an obvious display of the potential that there is in Korean animation, especially to create full-length productions that can have 1 or 2 seasons, because this anime was quite popular in Korea, and I know it has the potential to be popular abroad. I personally, when I see DR movies, videos, and like cutscenes for video games, they have outstanding animation. Gorgeous stuff that I think is like surpassing Japanese animation. I think the potential is there. With Elsword, I have a similar qualm in the sense that like it's gorgeous, but it's, in my opinion, it's quite boring, but I just see the potential, and I really, really hope that as the industry grows, that Korea will finally start creating whole projects of anime, like original projects with original characters, because there's so much potential on the animation alone. And I really, really, really want Korea to keep producing anime, because I think the end results, if it's anything like those small clips from the cutscenes and like incorporating obviously the length of stuff like Flowering Heart and the good elements in Flowering Heart, which are, you know, solid animation, solid voice acting, and like some really cute designs in my opinion. I think combining all this, there's just so much potential there, and I think it's kind of like the time has come for the Korean animation industry to rise. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this small introduction into Flowering Heart. Once again, like I mentioned, I'm gonna link the first episode of the series, both in English and Korean, down below, so you can check it out. You can watch the entire series on YouTube, which is awesome. It's really cool. You don't have to pay for a membership to watch it, so you have a whole free series. If you have watched Flowering Heart, please let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what you thought of this video, and if you are interested in hearing more about Korean anime, go follow me on Instagram. I don't really post anything, but you can be notified when I upload stuff. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week with a new exciting video, probably in the UFO Table Cafe, who knows. But until then, goodbye.